How's it going, everybody? How are you? So today we're making a chocolate orange cheesecake.
I really need you to hear what I'm saying.
Let's get started with the recipe. We are going to start off by making the base for our cheesecake. You need a scale. Put your bowl onto your scale. Make sure it's on 0 before you start weighing in your ingredient. Unsalted butter. You need 125 grams. I'm just going to cut it into small cubes and put it into my bowl because that will help it melt easier in the microwave. I'm just going to melt that in the microwave now. So our butter has completely melted now. I'm just going to put that to the side for now. Processor attachment. We're going to put that directly onto the scale. And we're going to weigh our biscuits directly into here. Oh, I forgot to put the blade in, silly me. Otherwise, it's going to be a mission to get that blade in afterwards, isn't it? Right, start again. Your blade goes in first. Make sure your blade's in first. Then put your scale on 0 and then weigh in your biscuits. Okay, so 275 grams of digestives into your food processor. Funny trying to blitz them without a blade in there, wouldn't it? That would be something to laugh at. At least I keep you entertained by doing all these silly things, don't I? Blitz until they form a fine crumb. So it's going to be a little bit loud, so bear with me. So all our biscuits are now blitzed up into fine pieces. Bring back our melted butter. Put our digestives, crushed digestives into our melted butter. Get a spatula and then just mix that together. And it should kind of become like a wet sand kind of texture is what you're looking for. And then you want to get your 8-inch. So I've got an 8-inch loose base tin, and the reason why you have a loose base tin is to help the cheesecake come out easier and smoother when you remove it from the tin, and you're not having to like try and cut pieces out with it being really awkward. You can just push your cheesecake out from the bottom. And I have actually lined the base of my tin simply because I don't want my tin to get wrecked. I know I have a habit of basically just leaving the base of the tin on when I'm serving the cheesecake and then cutting the cheesecake out directly onto the tin, and then the tin gets lines in it, and I don't like that. So I've covered the base in some greaseproof paper. It's optional, you don't have to do it. It's just, I'm just protecting my tin. Okay. And then we're just going to put our biscuit mixture into the base of our tin, and then you're just going to spread it out evenly. Use something and then push the biscuits down to compact them so they're nice and compact. Press down onto the biscuits just to make sure that they're packed in nice and tightly in the base, okay? So once you have compacted your cheesecake base, it should look something like this, where it's nice and set, okay? And then you just basically pop that in the fridge while you're prepping the rest of the cheesecake, okay? So that's the base done. Time to move on to the cheesecake filling. Bring back our scale again, and we are going to measure out some chocolate because we're going to melt the chocolate first. But we don't want the chocolate to be too warm when we add it into the cheesecake mixture, so we need to melt it first and then leave it aside to cool slightly before we go ahead and add it into the cheesecake mixture. So I've got Terry's chocolate orange here. Now, if you don't have Terry's chocolate orange where you live, or you can't get chocolate orange, then you can basically just use regular milk chocolate in the cheesecake and add some orange extract to your cheesecake mixture. Get a heat-proof bowl again because I am going to melt my chocolate in the microwave in short bursts. Now, some people find this really tricky to do because they end up burning their chocolate. The trick is that you melt your chocolate in short bursts, so 20 seconds at a time. You melt it, 20 seconds in the microwave, bring it out, mix it, put it back in, 20 seconds, bring it out, put it back in, like that, 20-second bursts. You don't want to go longer than that because you can easily burn your chocolate. 250 grams of Terry's chocolate orange. So the chocolate is almost melted, as you can tell, but it's still got a few blocks in there, so we're just going to put it back in the microwave for a few more seconds. So our chocolate is nice and melted now, so that is fine. So we're going to leave that to the side to cool while we started on the remaining cheesecake mixture. So I've got a large bowl for the cheesecake mixture, scale underneath. Start off by weighing in our cream cheese, so make sure that your scale is on 0. So we need 500 grams of cream cheese, a large bowl. We're going to add some icing sugar. Slowly add in your icing sugar until you reach 50 grams. Need 50 grams of icing sugar. So cream cheese and icing sugar. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and add in our melted chocolate. I just want to make sure that it's not too hot still before we add it in. Yeah, just you want to make sure that it's cool to touch so that you don't end up melting your whole cheesecake mixture when you add in your chocolate. So just make sure your chocolate has cooled down enough. Our melted Terry's chocolate orange now. And you just use the mixer to mix that in. You're going to get your scale back. Put that underneath. 300 milliliters of cream, so just slowly add it in till you reach 300 mils. And then you just whip that basically until it reaches a stiff peak. So a common mistake with the no-bake cheesecakes is over whipping it. So when you end up over whipping the cream in your cheesecake mixture, what happens is that it splits and then it makes it go runny. So you want to just make sure that you keep checking that you're not over whipping it. So you just basically whip it until it goes stiff and that's it, and you stop. If you carry on mixing, then you will over whip your cream. Another way you can avoid that happening is that if you whip your cream separately and then fold it into your cheesecake mixture, that way you'll know that you're not over whipping your cream and it will help it set a bit better that way. But obviously that way you're going to end up using an extra bowl for whipping your cream separately. It takes a few seconds really just to whip up until it's nice and set. Just get your spatula and do your last final fold by hand so that you know that the side bits are all mixed in as well. I've got a piping bag and a nozzle because I'm going to use some of the mixture to decorate the cheesecake later on. So I'm going to do some swirls on the edges. So I'm going to save some of the cheesecake mixture into a piping bag and then put it in the fridge. 2 or 3 tablespoons should be enough to pipe some swirls, depending on how many you want to do. So just save some of that. Remember the cheesecake base that we made earlier? All your cheesecake mixture into your tin. Now I've got a really high tin, which makes it easier because there's a lot of mixture and it's quite a thick cheesecake. You can use a bigger tin if you want a thinner one. That's fine as well. Use the back of a spoon, but I've got this angled spatula, and you want to go ahead and level out your cheesecake mixture in your tin so that it's nice and level. Leveled off your cheesecake, it should look something like this, and that is ready to go into the fridge while we prep the ganache layer to put on top as well. So that's the main part of the cheesecake. Now we're going to do a layer of ganache on top as well. You need your scale and another heat-proof bowl. 160 grams this time of cherry chocolate orange. And I'm going to break it into smaller pieces so it melts easier in the cream. Put your scale back on 0. 80 grams of cream. So add that in. Going to put that in the microwave to melt together and mix it in between like we did before, and that will make our chocolate orange ganache. The cream and chocolate a bit of a mix, and then put it back in to melt a bit further because as you can see it's not hot enough to melt the chocolate completely. Just keep mixing it now, it's hot enough, until it basically forms a ganache. Okay, it should come together. So you don't want to overheat your cream and you don't want to burn it, okay? So just heat it up enough so that the chocolate begins to melt, and then you can just mix it. And then if you feel like you do need to heat it up a little bit more, you can always heat it up a little bit more. Now we have, as you can see, a lovely, delicious chocolate orange ganache. Just want to make sure it's not too hot before I put it onto the cheesecake because I don't want to ruin the cheesecake. So I'm just mixing it so it cools down faster, and then once it's a little bit cool, then we can add it onto our cheesecake. I'm going to do a nice even layer. With the ganache, because it's a little bit runny, you can just basically lift up your tin and kind of jiggle it around to level it out. Pop some of those air bubbles that come to the top just to get a smoother surface. Just use a pin or a kitchen knife. So that is basically our cheesecake done. We'll put that in the fridge for at least 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours. Ideally, you want to chill it overnight. Let it set completely, and then you want to run your palette knife around the edge of the cake tin and then push the base out once it's set, and then you can decorate it once it's out of the tin and then serve it. Last thing to do is to make the ganache for the top, which we're going to use to decorate. Now, you don't need to do this at all. You can just decorate the cheesecake with, you know, the mixture that we took out to the side. Just do some swirls with that and call it a day. Put some Terry's chocolate orange pieces around the side. But I'm just going to be a bit extra because I want to add some orange colour to the top of this cheesecake. So the way we're going to do that is by making a white chocolate ganache and then colouring that orange. Same way we made the chocolate orange ganache, we just need cream and white chocolate. If I can get the chocolate open, it would help. I always drop something without fail. Always. I'm too entertaining, what can I say? 30 grams is more than enough. So put your scale back on 0. Add in a little bit of cream, so 10 grams. That goes in the microwave. So I didn't have orange food colouring, surprise, surprise. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. When I checked my supply cupboard, there was no orange gel food colouring in there. But I did find yellow and red powder colouring, so yellow and red makes orange. So we can just add a bit of both in. I really just want to get some orange and put orange in there. A tiny bit of yellow, bit of red. Don't add too much food colour because it just doesn't taste nice when there's too much food colouring in there. Until you get it to the colour that you want. So as you can see, this is quite a set ganache, and to pipe it is going to be a bit difficult. So what you want to do is when you're ready to pipe it is you heat it up ever so slightly. So give it 10 seconds in the microwave. That will make it a bit more runny and easier to pipe. So put it in your piping bag and pipe it over your dessert. It's ready, and I'm just going to leave that to the side for now until the cheesecake is set, and then I take it out and then I decorate it. Decorate yours however you like. I think I have covered everything. That's it. Now I have a whole pile of washing up to do and lunch to make for my husband as well. And I have cheesecake all over myself, which is absolutely normal for me to get my clothes completely ruined. So yeah, that's it from me. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bye everyone.